Good evening. Welcome back to Tales that Terrify, Series 3, Episode 15. Tonight, we go below the floorboards. A little boy who would not cross the kitchen, a door that should never be left open, and something in the cellar that has been waiting longer than anyone remembers. This is The Thing in the Cellar by David H. Keller. Lights out. It was a large cellar, entirely out of proportion to the house above it. The owner admitted that it had probably built for a distinctly different kind of structure from the one that rose above it. Probably the first house had been burned, and poverty had caused a diminution of the dwelling erected to take its place. A winding stone stairway connected the cellar with the kitchen. Around the base of this series of steps, successive owners of the house had placed their firewood, winter vegetables, and junk. The junk had gradually been pushed back till it rose, head high, in a barricade of uselessness. What was back of that barricade no one knew, and no one cared. For some hundreds of years, no one had crossed it to penetrate to the black reaches of the cellar behind it. At the top of the steps, separating the kitchen from the cellar, was a stout oaken door. This door was, in a way, as peculiar and out of relation to the rest of the house as the cellar. It was a strange kind of door to find in a modern house, and certainly a most unusual door to find in the inside of the house. Thick, stoutly built, dexterously rabbeted together, with huge wrought iron hinges, and a lock that looked as though it came from Castle Despair. Separating a house from the outside world, such a door would be excusable. Swinging between kitchen and cellar, it seemed peculiarly inappropriate. From the earliest months of his life, Tommy Tucker seemed unhappy in the kitchen, the front parlor, in the formal dining room, and especially on the second floor of the house. He acted like a normal, healthy child. But carry him to the kitchen, he at once began to cry. His parents, being plain people, ate in the kitchen except when they had company. Being poor, Miss Tucker did most of her work, though occasionally she had a charwoman in to do the extra Saturday cleaning, and thus much of her time was spent in the kitchen. And Tommy stayed with her, at least as long as he was unable to walk. Much of the time, he was decidedly unhappy. When Tommy learned to crawl, he lost no time in leaving the kitchen. No sooner was his mother's back turned than the little fellow crawled as fast as he could for the doorway opening in the front of the house, the dining room, and the front parlor. Once away from the kitchen, he seemed happy. At least he ceased to cry. On being returned to the kitchen, his howls so thoroughly convinced the neighbors that he had a cold that more than one bowl of catnip and sage tea was brought to his assistance. It was not until the boy learned to talk that the Tuckers had any idea as to what made the boy cry so hard when he was in the kitchen. In other words, the baby had to suffer for many months until he obtained at least a little relief, and even when he told his parents what was the matter, they were absolutely unable to comprehend. This is not to be wondered at, because they were both hard-working, rather simple-minded persons. What they finally learned from their little son was this: that if the cellar door was shut and securely fastened with a heavy iron, Tommy could at least eat a meal in peace. If the door was simply closed and not locked, he shivered with fear but kept quiet. But if the door was open, even the slightest streak of black showed that it was not tightly shut, then the little 3-year-old would scream himself to the point of exhaustion, especially if his tired father would refuse him permission to leave the kitchen. Playing in the kitchen, the child developed two interesting habits. Rags, scraps of paper, and splinters of wood were continually being shoved under the thick oak door to fill the space between the door and the sill. Whenever Miss Tucker opened the door, there was always some trash there, placed by her son. It annoyed her, and more than once the little fellow was thrashed for his conduct. But punishment acted in no way as a deterrent. The other habit was as singular. Once the door was closed and locked, he would rather boldly walk over to it and caress the old lock. Even when he was so small that he had to stand on tiptoe to touch it with the tips of his fingers, he would touch it with slow caressing strokes. Later on, as he grew, he used to kiss her. His father, who only saw the boy at the end of the day, decided there was no sense in such conduct, and in his masculine way tried to break the lad of his foolishness. There was, of necessity, no effort on the part of the hard-working man to understand the psychology back of his son's conduct. All that the man knew was that his little son was acting in a way that was decidedly queer. Tommy loved his mother, and was willing to do anything he could to help her in the household chores. But one thing he would not do, and never did do, and that was to fetch and carry something between the house and the cellar. If his mother opened the door, he would run screaming from the room, and he never returned voluntarily till he was assured that the door was closed. He never explained just why he acted as he did. In fact, he refused to talk about it, at least to his parents, and that was just as well, because had he done so, they would have simply been more positive than ever that something was wrong with their only child. They tried, in their own ways, to break the child of his unusual habits. While failing to change him at all, they decided to ignore his peculiarities. That is, they ignored them until he became 6 years old, and the time came for him to go to school. He was a sturdy little chap by that time, and more intelligent than the usual boys beginning in the primer class. Mr. Tucker was, at times, proud of him. The child's attitude towards the cellar door was the one thing most disturbing to the father's pride. Finally, nothing would do but that the Tucker family call on the neighborhood physician. It was an important event in the life of the Tuckers, so important that it demanded the wearing of Sunday clothes and all that sort of thing. "The matter is just this, Dr. Hawthorne," said Mr. Tucker, in a somewhat embarrassed manner. "Our little Tommy's old enough to start to school, but he behaves childish in regard to our cellar, and the missus and I thought you could tell us what to do about it. It must be his nerves." "Ever since he was a baby," continued Miss Tucker, taking up the thread of conversation where her husband had paused, "Tommy has had a great fear of the cellar. Even now, big boy that he is, he does not love me enough to fetch and carry something for me through that door and down those steps. It's not natural for a child to act like he does. And what with chinking the cracks with rags and kissing the lock, he drives me to the point where I fear he may be daft-like as he grows older." The doctor, eager to satisfy new customers, and dimly remembering some lectures on the nervous system received when he was a medical student, asked some general questions, listened to the boy's heart, examined his lungs, and looked at his eyes and fingernails. At last he commented, "Looks like a fine healthy boy to me." "Yes, all except the cellar door," replied the father. "Has he ever been sick?" "Not but once or twice when he cried himself blue in the face," answered the mother. "Frightened?" "Perhaps. It was always in the kitchen. Suppose you go out and let me talk to Tommy by myself." And there sat the doctor very much at his ease, and the little 6-year-old boy very uneasy. "Tommy, what is there in the cellar you're afraid of?" "I don't know." "Have you ever seen it?" "No, sir." "Ever heard it, smelt it?" "No, sir." "Then how do you know something is there?" "Because." "Because what?" "Because there is." That was as far as Tommy would go, and at last he seemed obstinacy annoyed the physician annoyed the physician even as it had for several years annoyed Mr. Tucker. He went to the door and called the parents into the office. "He thinks there's something down in the cellar," he stated. Tucker simply looked at each other. "That's foolish," commented Mr. Tucker. "'Tis just a plain cellar with junk and firewood and cinder barrels in it," added Miss Tucker. "Since we moved into that house, I've not missed a day without going down those stone steps, and I know there's nothing there. But the lad has always screamed when the door was open. I recall now that since he was a child in arms, he's always screamed when the door was open." "He thinks there is something there," said the doctor. "That is why we brought him to you," replied the father. "It's the child's nerves. Perhaps photida or something will calm him." "I tell you what to do," advised the doctor. "He thinks there is something there. Just as soon as he finds that he is wrong and there's nothing there, he will forget about it. He's been humored too much. What you want to do is to open that cellar door and make him stay by himself in the kitchen. Nail the door open so you cannot close it. Leave him alone there for an hour and then go and laugh at him and show him how silly it was for him to be afraid of an empty cellar. I will give you some nerve and blood tonic, and that will help, but the big thing is to show him that there's nothing to be afraid of. On the way back to the Tucker home, Tommy broke away from his parents. They caught him after an exciting chase and kept him between them the rest of the way home. Once in the house, he disappeared and was found in the guest room under the bed. The afternoon being already spoiled for Mr. Tucker, he determined to keep the child under observation for the rest of the day. Tommy ate no supper, in spite of the urgings of the unhappy mother. The dishes were washed, the evening paper read, the evening pipe smoked, and then, and only then, did Mr. Tucker take down his toolbox and get out a hammer and some long nails. "And I'm going to nail the door open, Tommy, so you cannot close it, as that was what the doctor said, Tommy, and you are to be a man and stay here in the kitchen alone for an hour, and we'll leave the lamp a-burning, and then when you find there's nothing to be afraid of, you'll be well and a real man, and not something for a man to be ashamed of being the father of." But at the last, Miss Tucker kissed Tommy and cried and whispered to her husband not to do it, and to wait until the boy was larger. But nothing was to do except to nail the thick door open so it could not be shut, and leave the boy there alone with the lamp burning, and the dark open space of the doorway to look at with eyes that grew as hot and burning as the flame of the lamp. That same day, Dr. Hawthorne took supper with a classmate of his, a man who specialized in psychiatry and who was particularly interested in children. Hawthorne had told Johnson about his newest case, the little Tucker boy, and asked him for his opinion. Johnson frowned. "Children are odd, Hawthorne. Perhaps they are like dogs, and maybe their nervous system is more acute than in the adult. We know that our eyesight is limited, also our hearing and smell. I firmly believe that there are forms of life which exist in such a form that we can neither see, hear, or smell them. Fondly, we delude ourselves into the fallacy of believing that they do not exist because we cannot prove their existence. This Tucker lad may have a nervous system that is peculiarly acute. He may dimly appreciate the existence of something in the cellar which is unappreciable to his parents. Evidently, there is some basis to this fear of his. Now, I'm not saying that there is anything in the cellar. In fact, I suppose that it's just an ordinary cellar. But this boy, since he was a baby, has thought that there was something there, and that is just as bad as though there actually were. What I would like to know is what makes him think so. Give me the address, and I'll call tomorrow and have a talk with the little fellow. What do you think of my advice?" "Sorry, old man, but I think it was perfectly rotten. If I were you, I would stop around there on my way home and prevent them from following. The little fellow may be badly frightened. You see, he evidently thinks there is something there." "But there isn't." "Perhaps not, no doubt. He is wrong, but he thinks so." It all worried Dr. Hawthorne so much that he decided to take his friend's advice. It was a cold night, a foggy night, and the physician felt cold as he tramped along the London streets. At last he came to the Tucker house. He remembered now that he had been there once before, long ago, when little Tommy Tucker came into the world. There was light in the front window, and in no time at all Mr. Tucker came to the door. "I've come to see Tommy," said the doctor. "He's back in the kitchen," replied the father. "He gave one cry, but since then he's been quiet," sobbed the wife. I had let her have her way, she would open the door. But I said to her, 'Mother, now is the time to make a man out of our Tommy.' And I guess he knows by now there was nothing to be afraid of. Well, the hour is up. Suppose we go and get him and put him to bed." "It's been a hard time for the little child," whispered the wife. Carrying the candle, the man walked ahead of him and the doctor, and at last opened the kitchen door. The room was dark. "The lamp has gone out," said the man. "Wait till I light it." "Tommy! Tommy!" cried Miss Tucker. But the doctor ran to where a white form was stretched on the floor. Sharply he called for more light. Trembling, he examined all that was left of little Tommy. Twitching, he looked into the open space down into the cellar. At last he looked at Tucker and Tucker's wife. Tommy's been hurt. I guess he's dead," he stammered. Mother threw herself on the floor and picked up the torn, mutilated thing that had been, only a little while ago, for little Tommy. The man took out his hammer and drew out the nails and closed the door and locked it, and then drove in a long spike to reinforce the lock. Then he took hold of the doctor's shoulder and shook him. "What killed him, doctor? What killed him?" he shouted into Hawthorne's ear. The doctor looked at him bravely in spite of the fear in his throat. "How do I know, Tucker?" he replied. "How do I know? Didn't you tell me that there was nothing there? Nothing down there? In the cellar?" Some things wait in the dark and never need to be seen. They only need the door left open. When we return, a different kind of vanishing. A man with a strange watch. And people who dream of a place called Alaria and disappear. Stay with us.
Hey, welcome to the party. You know the one. Where the lights are low, the stories are twisted, and the nightmares feel strangely welcome. This is SL Tonight. We are where the nightmares go. Every week we bring you the weird, the creepy, the hilarious, and the forgotten. All the stuff that makes the dark a little more fun. If you're enjoying the show, come hang out longer. Grab some of our restored comics and special books on Ko-Fi. They make great late night reading. So pull up a chair or a coffin. The night's just getting started. SL Tonight. We are where the nightmares go. Hinged in the brooding west, a black sun hung, and titan shadows barred the dying world. The blind black oceans groped, their tendrils curled, and writhed and fell in feathered spray and dung, climbing the granite ladders, rung by rung, which held them from the tribes whose death cries skirled. Above unholy fires, red wings unfurled. Gray ashes floated down from where they swung. A demon crouched, chin propped on brutish fist, gripping a crystal ball between his knees. His skull mouth gaped, and icy shone his eye. Down crashed the dark globe, a fire shot mist masked the crystal lands which sank below the seas. A painted sun hung in the starless sky. Looking for stories that'll keep you up at night? SL Tonight presents 3 terrifying collections straight from the vault. Tales that terrify, on record. Tales from the vault and papers from the vault. Real horror, real chaos, real entertainment. Available now. Don't sleep on these, or you might not sleep at all. Buy my book! He's right, you know?
If you're one of those individuals who doesn't carry a watch, makes a habit of asking someone else for the time, pay particular attention if the timepiece happens to be on his wrist. And if he starts to tap that watch slowly, don't wait around. Lights out.
All right, come on, Socrates. Breakfast is ready.
Okay.
You know, Mike, ever since you've been on this case, all you do is talk. I can't get a word in edgewise.
Sorry, I've been thinking.
Yeah, but you have to think so much. I'd like to have a conversation with you. You know, maybe every month or so.
I'll try to do better.
Good. And why can't you stop this pacing back and forth?
Here's why.
5 more missing. Researcher, trained nurse, professor, secretary, college athlete, our latest to disappear. 5 more. Well, guess we'll be hearing from the chief again.
I'm surprised he hasn't called up already.
Oh, look, Mike, you're a good detective. You know your business and you're doing your best. Now stop worrying or you'll wind up with a peptic ulcer.
I'm not worrying. I'd just like to take a little direct action.
Oh, you've only been on the case 4 months.
Sounds different when the chief says it.
Well, he ought to know you're just waiting for some kind of a break.
A break? If I don't get a break soon, there'll be nobody left in this city.
Well, that's one way of closing the case. Now come on and eat.
I'm not hungry, Joyce. You know what's wrong with the city?
Several things I can think of.
A detective doesn't get a fair shake. 3 million people in the metropolitan area.
That isn't exactly cozy, is it?
Here, the odds are 3 million to 1. 3 million to 1. But I'll find a certain fat guy with a certain wristwatch.
Who?
A fat man who wears... There's the chief, no.
Well, you tell the old buzzard that your wife, at least, has implicit faith in your ability to solve the case.
Hello, Wilson speaking.
Wilson, this is Dugan.
Yeah, I know. Hello, Chief.
Do you see what's happened?
Yeah, 5 more.
Well, have you got any leads?
Not a thing.
Listen, Wilson, you've been on this case 4 months now.
I know, Chief, I know.
That citizen committee's going to be back in today for sure. I got 4 filing cases full of complaints, and the progress file is empty. My job's at stake, Wilson, and so is yours.
So are the lives of some of the best citizens in this city.
All right, but you better turn up something pretty quick.
Why tell him you haven't got anything?
Because, baby, what I've got is so weird. No one would believe it.
Well, I love you, even if no one else does. I'll believe you.
That's sweet of you, Joyce.
Oh, come on now, Mike. Spill it.
For 4 months, I've been interviewing the families of all the people who've disappeared. 246 in all. And nearly everyone mentioned that the people who disappeared hadn't dreamed the night before. They all dreamed that a certain fat man with a crazy kind of wristwatch appeared and told about a country called Illyria. The man always wanted them to go there. The next day, they'd be wiped off the face of the earth.
Well, what's the watch got to do with it?
What's anything got to do with it? The main thing is that everyone who's had that dream has disappeared.
And you can't tell the chief that?
You'd think I was nuts.
Yeah. I see your point.
A little early for visitors. I'll get it.
All right.
Hello, Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Matt, come in.
Oh, you remembered.
Sure, Western Avenue. 4 weeks ago, 3 o'clock in the morning, we talked in the street. Your son Donald had just disappeared.
Yes, I know. Oh,
Joyce, may I present Mr. Madden, my wife.
how do you do? Mr. Wilson, you remember the dream that my son Donald had? Well, just now, at breakfast, my daughter Joan told the same story. She had the dream, Mr. Wilson. She had the dream.
Yeah.
Yes. Will she go too? Will she?
Well, take it easy, Mr. Madden.
I don't want to scare her, but I could tell her to stay home today.
No, don't do that. Let her go ahead right as if nothing had happened.
Well, she's going skating.
Where?
At a rink at 23rd and Clifton.
We'll take care of it, Mr. Madden. Don't worry. We'll see that she's protected.
All right, I'll try not to. Goodbye.
Oh, Mr. Madden, you happen to have a picture of Joan in your wallet?
Oh, yes.
Let me have it, please.
There she is.
Thanks.
She's such a nice girl. We can't lose her, too, Mr. Wilson.
Don't worry, Mr. Madden. Everything will be all right.
Poor little guy. Mike, you've got to pick that girl up for safekeeping.
Not that simple, Joyce. That fat man wants to take Joan Madden. Nobody can stop him. One guy disappeared right out of the elevator between the 10th and 15th floor. Another guy was driving along the highway alone. Car crashed. He was gone. No. The main thing is finding that fat man. Now, this may be the break we've been talking about. He's planning another disappearance. I'm going to be there. Hello, Chief. I've got something. I want you to surround the rollerdrome at 23rd and Clifton. Enough men to lock arms around the block. Yeah, there's going to be another disappearance. Right. Meet you at the door.
Now, take it easy, Mr. Detective. Remember, this fat man is only in a dream.
That's why I've been pacing up and down so much, baby. This is the kind of thing that makes a man wonder. Where'd you find those?
In the center of the floor. I'm taking them in lost and found.
Mind if I join you, mister?
Not at all, Mr. Wilson. I take it you'd like to have a little direct action.
I got a couple of direct questions, and I got a feeling you got the answers.
You're probably embarrassed that you don't know my name. Let me introduce myself. Ludovic Altimus, at your service.
Pleasure to meet you.
You mean it's a pleasure to catch up with me, don't you?
That's more accurate. You made a mistake, Mr. Altimus, taking two people from the same family.
Well, that's for me to judge. Matter of fact, I never made a mistake in my life.
There's always a first time.
Oh, not at all. A man can go right through a busy life.
Okay, never mind the philosophy. Now, what's the dope with this dream business? Everyone claims that they saw you in their dreams.
That's right. I go and talk to them in their dreams. That way, no one can follow me.
May I ask how you get into their dreams?
Well, it's quite simple. This little instrument here on my wrist can transmit matter. Can transmit it into any frame of mind or any part of the universe. I call it a transmatter. As a matter of fact, I use it to transfer the people too. You see, by tapping it in a certain way, I can put their personal magnetic vibrations into synchronization with certain light rays, and presto, they're on their way.
On their way to where?
To Illyria, of course.
Where's Illyria?
I think we've had enough questions for the moment, my boy. Let me tell you something for your own good. I'm in complete control of the situation, and you've got to give up this case. You've been snooping around too long, and I can hurt you.
You're not that impressive, Altimus. I'm sticking around.
In that case, I shall leave.
You won't move until I'm through questioning you.
Oh, Wilson, are you planning to have me execute one of those ridiculous dashes for it?
Hey, it's your choice. The doors are covered. Hey, Chief. Chief, stop him! What's the matter? Don't let him get away.
Don't let who get away?
The fat man who sat at the table with me.
Mike, there was nobody there at that table with you.
Come on, let me go.
You were sitting at that table all alone and talking.
I was sitting with Ludovic Altimus, the big fat guy.
You're dreaming, Wilson. You're dreaming. I've seen this happen before, Wilson. There's nothing like a good long rest to clear up a man's head.
Chief, my head is clear for the 600th
Where's your
time.
wife?
She's down at her office.
Oh, I wanted to talk to her. I want her to see that you stayed in bed. And I'm going to call a doctor, too.
Look, Chief, I'm perfectly okay. I'm not crazy. This is the same guy who appeared in all these people's dreams. The same guy who snatched Joan Madden right off that floor by tapping his watch.
Look, Mike, I've been in this business.
Are you sure there's nobody in the wanted file by the name of Ludovic Altimus?
I know that wanted file by heart. The closest name is Joe Altamont. Besides, everybody in that file is a living human being.
Hey, there's something wrong in this apartment.
Yeah, sure is.
The door. The kitchen door. We've lived here for 2 years. We've never had that door closed. Hey, stand back, Chief.
Wilson, just what are you running here?
I'm not running anything. Ludovic Altimus is.
All right, I'll go along with you now. I'll even agree he exists. But just how do we find him?
I believe in a little direct action in times like these. Start with a phone book. Well, let's see. A-L-A-L-T. Here he is. Ludovic Altimus. 798 East 96th. He lists himself as an exporter.
Well, is that all right?
I'm going up there.
Now, we're surrounding the place.
No, what good would it do if the cops can't see the criminal? I'm going up there by myself.
And just what are you going to do with that hammer?
Another part of a direct approach.
I'm sure you'll love everything about Lydia, my dear. It's of a magnificence beyond description.
I can hardly wait to go, Elizabeth.
And don't worry about your husband. We can fix it so that you'll forget all about him.
Funny, he's beginning to seem hazy already.
Fine, fine. If you'll just rest up for the trip, I'll call you a little later.
I'll wait for your call, Elizabeth.
Why, hello, Mr. Wilson. Come in.
I wasn't quite through with you.
I'm glad that you're here. I'm not quite through with you either. Come in. Will you have a glass of milk?
No, thanks.
Incidentally, if you haven't been home yet, I must warn you. If you have, I must congratulate you.
Congratulate me, then. It didn't work. We never leave the kitchen door closed.
I told them not to do it. I guaranteed that you would give up the case before it was necessary to kill you.
That was considerate.
Yes, I can't bear these blunt methods. Do sit down. I'd much rather whirl gracefully around the edge of a problem than wade in like a rhinoceros. The nature of my assignment here requires it.
What is the nature of your assignment?
Oh, yes, I think I'd better give you a little background. You sure you won't have a glass of milk? You see, I was born, although I was born in Morriswood, I still have a very nice house there, where I like to relax on summer evenings in the nice wide porch. I am really a creature from a totally different galaxy of the universe. And although I was born in Northwood, I appear to be, I'm a person who has had a great assignment, and my mother was born in Northwood, but my father was a member of the first spaceship expedition which landed on this planet from Illyria.
I see. Have you ever been back in the old country?
Oh, yes. Yes, this transmitter is my connection with New Jersey, but I haven't transmitted myself recently.
You mind if I pace?
No, please do. You see, the trip takes a few light years, and I never seem to have time to get away for more than a weekend in Northwood.
Why do you have to keep so busy?
Well, you know why. My job here is to line up nice, healthy, young, and intelligent men and women to transmit from our planet to yours.
Oh, what for?
Well, for the purpose, you see, we have a very advanced civilization in Illyria, but we have recently found that the birth rate has fallen off very considerably. Well, you see, the problem that we were faced with, we have to carry on just as you do. And so it was necessary to start these expeditions. We have people to recruit from there. We have people from several planets now. It's rather like America in the 19th century. A sort of melting pot, as you might say.
But one difference. People wanted to come here.
Oh, no. People want to go to Illyria, too. And when they get there, they find the life so delightful and the land so incredibly beautiful that they never want to return.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, no, that's what I like so much about you Earth people, especially you Americans. You're so blissfully provincial. You always think that everything that you have here, that nothing could be better. Well, I assure you that it can.
Well, my point of view isn't that flexible.
You really ought to broaden it, and I always said that police work did not broaden the imagination.
Well, I've got enough imagination to put you out of business, Mr. Altimus. That's all I need.
In any test of the survival of the fittest, Mr. Wilson, I can assure you that I'm pretty fit. It'll you who'll be out of business. Now, you didn't take my first warning. You didn't fall into the booby trap. Now, let's see what happens. Will you come in here, my dear?
Here I am, Ludovic.
Joyce.
You know Mrs. Wilson, of course.
Oh, hello there, Mike. How are you?
Joyce. What's the matter?
Oh, nothing.
Tell him what you want to do, Joyce.
Well, I had this funny dream, and Ludovic came to me and asked me to go to Illyria. And now my dream is coming true. I'm going.
You mean you want to go?
Yes. Yes, I want to go.
We don't usually take married people, but either...
She's drugged. You've got her drugged.
No, I really want to go, that's all.
What about me?
I don't know. What about you?
Now, shall we all sit down? I want you to listen to me, and then I want your answer. I want you to go to your chief and tell him that you failed and that you're going to give up this case immediately. If you don't agree, then I shall tap this transmatter 3 times, and your wife here will disappear forever. May I have your answer, please?
Yes, you may have my answer. My answer.
Then you win, Mr. Wilson.
Mike?
Take it easy, Joyce.
What are we doing, you? Where? Who's that big tub of lard?
This is Ludovic Altonus. He was going to transmit you to a different planet.
Yes, to Illyria.
Well, that would have been just great.
Great. I agree.
You can imagine the size of the holes in your socks with me on another planet.
You've broken my contact with Illyria. And it was such a clever, delicate instrument.
Well, let's call the squad car and run it in.
It's not that easy, baby.
You mean just because you smashed the evidence?
Not only that. See, baby, the chief can't see this man. It's most embarrassing for me.
Now, you see, Mrs. Wilson, I have the power of selective invisibility. It will be very difficult to get me to appear in a court.
But the most important thing, you won't be transmitting any more people.
No. But in spite of our mutual dislike under the circumstances, I do want to congratulate you. Your direct action was very effective.
Thanks a lot. Come on, Joyce.
Anyhow, I shall have time now for a little gardening in Morriswood. If you're ever over that way, do look me up.
No, we don't get to Morriswood very often.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's very delightful over there.
Sorry, too.
And by the way, you better send somebody over to fix up our kitchen.
I'll take care of that. Au revoir.
That friend is still in business. But in case you don't run into him, let me give you the time.
2 stories. One boy who saw too much in the cellar. One man who offered a way out of this world. Both left something behind that should never have been opened. This has been Tales That Terrified, Series 3, Episode 15. Been your host, Felix Lebeski. I'll see you again when the lights go out. Until then, keep the door closed. Good night.